Do we have some big news for you? The 2024 Ford Bronco has officially been unveiled, and we're going to talk about all the different things you need to know before ordering your brand new Ford Bronco. What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today I'm a little jazzed. We've become known as one of the largest Bronco dealers in the entire country. I absolutely love it. Love my Bronco. Wouldn't give it up for the world. And today I'm going to give you all of the updates that I have found online on this particular update. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I'm going to cover every single one of these trim levels from beginning to end, and we're going to talk about the changes that were made, the biggest ones. And so if you're completely unfamiliar with the Ford Bronco, there is actually a whole lot more to learn. What we're going to cover here are primarily the changes from the 23 to the 24 model. And so let's go ahead and jump into the very first trim level. That's the base model. It is done. Ford has axed the base model, and I applaud them. They've listened to our videos, or at least that's what I'm going to call it, because we have been talking about for a long time that the base model and the Big Bend has been a very redundant option package. And so I'm super pumped to see that they have killed off this particular option. Now, what does that mean? So now we've got to step into the Big Bend, which is the very first entry trim level in the Ford Bronco. This is going to be the entry level, but the cool thing is they're stepping up the options significantly. Now you get standard a 12-inch touchscreen on this particular vehicle. Plus you also pick up marine grade vinyl. If you have not had a chance to sit in marine grade vinyl yet, you are absolutely going to love it. It is great for cleaning up spills or off-roading or just living in the vehicle. Not actually living, but living with the vehicle. It's been fantastic in mine. Wouldn't have a Bronco without it. Now the leather is nice and fancy, and it's got its, all of its power and things like that. But realistically, I love the marine grade vinyl. Now, the other thing you need to understand is that this Big Bend model is going to be coming with the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine only. That's it. The 2.7 V6 is not an option on the Big Bend. Something you need to know before you select exactly which trim level you want to go with when you place your order for the Bronco. And speaking of you ordering the Bronco, we've actually got all of the timelines, the estimated timelines for when does the order bank open up? When can I place an order? When can I expect the orders to start scheduling? When can I expect them to start actually building them? That's coming later in the video, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to cover all of those cool little details. Now, the other couple of other things that Ford has upgraded on this particular vehicle are going to be some smaller things. Like now you get a Ford streaming service is going to be standard in pretty much every Bronco now, but especially on the Big Bend. A couple of other things. Thankfully, Ford is upgrading the headrests on the Ford Bronco. So now they have a 4-way adjustable headrest, meaning it goes up and down and it tilts forward and back. So I think it's fantastic, because the one thing I don't like about my marine grade vinyl in my Bronco Badlands is that the headrest has got my head doing like this every time I drive. So I intentionally lean my seat back so that way my head's got a little bit more room to breathe. Either way, I digress. Let's keep moving on. The other thing that you need to know is that Ford Motor Company has increased the finishes on the interior and the rest of the vehicle. And I think that's good because they're stepping up the quality or the feel of the vehicle. But you're probably thinking, okay, like what kind of price increases because we're getting a bigger screen, marine grade vinyl. Now, yeah, you are giving up that 2.7, but that was an option. That wasn't standard equipment. So what are we talking about as a price increase? Only $250 price increase for a 2-door and a $550 price increase for the 4-door. And I think that's a heck of a deal, picking up a massive 12-inch screen and the marine grade vinyl. It's probably worth it in those two features alone. I want to tell you that the Big Bend is the great vehicle for getting into a Bronco for as least expensive as possible. That's who the target demographic is. The next trim level higher is going to be the Black Diamond. And there's not a whole lot of changes on this particular trim level for the 24 model year, but we're going to cover those changes anyways. And the first one is you get the high gloss painted black wheels are going to be standard equipment on all Black Diamonds. And just like the Big Bend, the 12-inch touchscreen is also going to be standard equipment on that particular trim level. By the way, the 12-inch touchscreen is going to be standard equipment on all Broncos for 2024 model year. A couple of other things, as we've already mentioned, the streaming service from Ford is also included. The 4-way adjustable headrest is also included, and those improved finishes are also included. But you're probably thinking, okay, what's the price price increase on this particular setup compared to the 23. That's going to be $1,130 price increase for the 2-door and $1,380 price increase for the 4-door. Who is the target demographic for the Black Diamond? I believe it is that person who's going to be doing some light off-roading, wants that look of an off-roader, and really might even do decent level of off-roading, but doesn't want to necessarily spend the money on the higher trim levels that we're about to cover. So next up, I want to talk about the Outer Banks. What's interesting about the Outer Banks is they've completely gotten rid of the 2-door option for the Outer Banks. And so now they're also making some changes, like leather seats. The leather and vinyl combination seats is now standard equipment on all of the Outer Banks Broncos. As I've already mentioned to you, 12-inch touchscreen, standard. Streaming service from Ford, standard. The 4-way adjustable headrest, standard, and as well as those upgraded finishes. Here's what's crazy though. The Outer Banks has no price increase for 2024. So props to you, Ford, for making sure that this vehicle stays the exact same price for the base MSRP. Now, a notable, interesting change for the Outer Banks is that Ford Motor Company has taken the High package, which was the 360-degree camera, and then the Lux package, which is the adaptive cruise control, and they actually combined that on the Outer Banks, so it's all in one. If you get that High package and Lux, it all comes together. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. In my opinion, the Outer Banks is going to be the person who's not really going to be doing some crazy level off-roading. They want it to look nice and they want a level of luxury in their Bronco. If that's you, the Outer Banks is your trim level. The next trim level up is near and dear to my heart, the Badlands. There's a lot of changes going on this particular trim level, so I want to make sure that I cover them all and in depth. So the very first thing you need to know is that the 10-speed automatic transmission is not available with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder for the Badlands. So if you want the 2.3 in a Badlands, congratulations, you're getting a manual transmission. If you have to have an automatic transmission in a Badlands, you're automatically getting the 2.7-liter V6 EcoBoost. Just a notable change. I don't think it's going to affect all that many people because most people that got the 2.3 wanted the manual transmission. Most people that got the automatic transmission ended up going with the 2.7. So it's really a good job on Ford's end for trying to condense and consolidate all of the options that were available. This should make it a lot easier for Ford to predict exactly what options and trim levels customers are going to choose the most. All right, so the next big change is that for the Badlands, you now get the modular front bumper is going to be standard equipment. That's a big upgrade. And well, I'll tell you what, that was a big upgrade. This is the biggest upgrade. You now get an upgraded steering rack in the Badlands trim level. Now, when you mate that with the stabilizer bar disconnect that was already in the Badlands, this is now going to be my favorite all off-road. Well, I guess it always was my favorite all off-roading vehicle trim level. The only problem was in the previous generations, the Wildtrak was the only somebody that got an upgraded steering rack. And I am so thankful for the Ford Motor Company for upgrading the steering rack in this particular Badlands. So well done, Ford. Thank you so much. As I've already mentioned to you, the 12-inch touchscreen, the 4-way adjustable headrest, the Ford streaming services, and the finishes are all also included in that base trim level or the base option. But what's crazy though is you're picking up all of the upgraded steering rack and the 12-inch touchscreen standard equipment and the modular front bumper, all of that for only a $2,000 price increase. Once again, I think that's a smoking deal. I know people that are spending $2,000 just to try and upgrade their current generation Broncos steering rack. So well done, Ford, for keeping that price increase modest, but actually giving us tangible things for those price increases. But one notable difference on the Badlands is the optional 33-inch wheels, the beadlock capable wheels in the previous generation, gone. Now, if you want those beadlock capable wheels, you need to step up to the Sasquatch package to have that option. In my opinion, the Badlands is going to be the perfect trim level if you're actually going to off-road your vehicle, specifically in my area of the country. As you probably know, I live in Alabama, I work in Alabama, and we have rocks, not nearly like Utah or anything, but we have rocks, we have mud, we off-road, it's slower speed trails. And that is where the Badlands shines because of that stabilizer bar disconnect. That is very different to the Wildtrak, which we're going to cover right now. The Wildtrak has always been that high-speed off-roader. It is the gap between a normal Bronco and a Bronco Raptor, whereas the Bronco Raptor can pretty much do it all, but it's really shining for the high speed stuff. The Wildtrak is getting you access to high speed off-roading without having to spend crazy money on the Bronco Raptor. So the Wildtrak's changes for 24 model year. You also pick up a modular front bumper. You also pick up leather and vinyl seats as standard equipment, and you also get a beefed up gearing. Now, I'm interested to see what that's actually going to look like, because my understanding is the Wildtrak in previous generations with that Haas 3.0 picked up the upgraded steering gear anyways. So I wonder if they're upgrading the upgraded steering rack, if that makes any sense. But a couple of other things that Ford picked up as standard equipment increases or changes for 2024 is going to be the 12-inch touchscreen, the streaming services, the headrest, and as well as the finishes on the interior. All of those changes are going to be looking at a $2,000 price increase. Now, the crazy thing about the Wildtrak, as I've already mentioned to you, it is designed for that higher speed off-roading because it has that Fox shocks in it. This is still going to be a very commodity controlled option, trim level, if you will, in the Bronco. And so this is still not going to be the one that I would go with. If it were me, I would take a Badlands and customize it. By the way, that hasn't changed since day one of the new Bronco's debut. So you want something a little more unique than just a normal Bronco or a Wildtrak or a Badlands. Everglades might be the option for you. A couple of the changes that they've made on this generation, this year model, is going to be the slide out tailgate is standard equipment on this particular vehicle, as well as the streaming services, the headrest, and the finishes that I've been talking about on all the different trim levels. By the way, this particular setup is getting an $875 increase on the base MSRP. For 2024, the Heritage and the Heritage Limited are back. And let's cover the normal Heritage first. Now we have a couple of changes as far as the colors and options. Robin's Egg Blue is now available on the normal Heritage version of the Bronco. In addition to that, the slide out tailgate is also standard on the 4-door only, and you also get the 12-inch touchscreen. You get the streaming services, headrest, and the finishes. There is a price increase that's pretty hefty on this one. It's $1,180 for the 2-door, and it is $1,250 price increase for the 4-door. If you like the look of the Heritage, but you're looking for something a little more exclusive, the Heritage Limited is what you're looking for. A lot of the things are carried over from the previous generation. The slide-out tailgate is standard on the 4-door. You do have two colors, Robin's Egg Blue and Yellowstone, but the good news is there's a very modest price increase of only $490 or $620, depending on if you get the 2-door or the 4-door. The big boy, the Bronco Raptor. Yes, Ford freaking listen to us. They gave us body colored fender flares. Hallelujah. I am so excited about this because I have never really had an issue with the Bronco Raptor except for the fender flares. Fun fact, Ford actually gave me an early look at the Bronco Raptor before it was debuted to the world. Couldn't say anything about it, but that's the reason I started building my Bronco the exact same way that I did, is because I could not get over those fender flares. They're just too large, and really just the black look just didn't mesh with any color that I would be willing to drive. Now that Ford is giving us a body colored matched fender flare on the Bronco Raptor, I might need to relook at some things. That solves all of my issues on the Bronco Raptor. So thank you to Ford. I know you guys, I joke a lot about it, but really, Ford, I know y'all watch our videos. Thank you for watching our videos, but more importantly, thank you for listening to us and our customers. Man, this is a huge change. Okay, so a couple of changes as far as the colors are concerned. There's a brand new shelter green that looks absolutely beautiful. And also now you can get Velocity Blue on the Raptor. But it is very interesting that Ford has removed the ability to go with Code Orange for the color. Another notable change is that Ford Motor Company has reduced the packaging on this particular vehicle. They didn't remove options. In fact, they made the Lux package is now standard equipment. And so that kind of does justify the $3,755 price increase on the base model version of the Bronco Raptor, because you are getting a lot more options from that base version. There is one major change with all of the Broncos that actually pains me to see. Area 51 is no more. That was probably one of the most popular colors for the 2021, 2, and 3 Ford Bronco, and you're not going to see it in a 24 model. So say goodbye. Say goodbye. Anyways, now let's cover some of the key important dates on this launch of the new 24 Bronco. August 16th, 2023. That's when the order banks are actually opened and you can start placing orders for your Bronco. That is also the same date that the build-in price price on Ford.com will go live. The beautiful thing about that is you'll be able to option it, configure it exactly how you want to, and then send that information into your dealer to place the order itself. Now, as far as the production of scheduling and when they're actually going to build these vehicles, it is estimated right now from the rumors that I found on Bronco6g.com, which is where a lot of this information has come from, is that in late September of 2024, they are going to start the scheduling process. And then they hope to start actually producing these things sometime in late November, maybe early December, depending on when everything lines up. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you're as excited and jazzed as I am about the all-new Ford Bronco. Thank you so much for your support. Once again, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us to become one of the largest Bronco dealers in the nation. I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys that has bought a Bronco from us. Even if you haven't bought anything from us, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video, and also thank you for hitting that like button, because it really does go a long way in making sure that this content makes it to other people who need to see it. Whether they buy something from us or not, I don't care. I just want to help people. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day. Peace.